When it comes to selecting colour for our artwork, many designers may be stuck for inspiration. Thankfully, Adobe provides a comprehensive colour selection resource at color.adobe.com. Visiting this website, we're presented with a colour wheel similar to what you see here. And the colour wheel has various points placed upon it, each defining a colour. In this case, we have 5 points, and the way in which they move in relation to each other is in reflection of the current selected colour harmony rule, which is analogous, as you see here. Each colour harmony rule will have a different amount of points, and those points will move in a certain way. So clicking and dragging one of these points, I'm going to use the orange, you'll see that the rest move in relation to this point in a certain kind of fashion. And this is true for all the other points in the harmony. So if I was to click the red here, you'll see the rest rotate in a similar fashion. Below we have 5 boxes denoted by A, B, C, D and E, and of course these colours are reflecting those of the colour wheel. We do have a colour in the centre, which is currently red and has a triangle at the bottom. It also has a triangle on the wheel there. And this is the base colour. The base colour is the colour which all other colours will react to. If, for example, we clicked the base colour on the colour wheel and brought it inwards towards the centre, all those other colours would react in a similar fashion. Clicking and dragging it out, they do exactly the same. Now if I was to select the purple, which is not the base colour, and drag this inwards, the rest of the colours do not follow. So this purple colour, as it is now, or this point, could be considered as an independent colour. Though when we click the base colour and we drag, still that lighter purple, which it is because it's closer to the centre, moves accordingly. So analysing the other information beneath the boxes here, we have these values which are the hexadecimal values, and these are particularly useful if you're into web design. We have a colour mode selector here, currently on RGB, so we see the red, green and blue values for each colour. We also have the brightness. Clicking on the drop down we can select CMYK, cyan, magenta, yellow and key, or black to use another term. We can select HSB, hue, saturation and brightness. And finally we can select LAB, which stands for lightness, A value which is red and green, and the B value which is blue and yellow. As a designer who develops for print on a regular basis, I'm going to use the CMYK colour mode. So we're going to quickly explore all of the colour harmony rules. Colour harmony rules are not in any way exclusive to Adobe. They are in fact universal rules pertaining to all kinds of art and areas of science. So the next colour harmony rule is monochromatic, and although you only see 2 points, there are 5 colours here. So if you play around with this, not only to see how the colour harmony works, but you can also reveal those additional points. As you see here, I've introduced a 3rd. The next is triad. You'll see those 3 lines with the points on, hence the name. And those will move in relation to each other in a rigid fashion. You can also bring these ones in on those particular points. Next is complementary. So complementary is a straight line which spans through the centre of the colour wheel. So this results in opposing colours. Split complementary, we have a kind of triad shape once again, but we can move those lines independently, and those points can be brought out as before. Double split complementary, we have the 5 lines with points at the end. Moving on to square, if you envisage a square around this kind of cross that we have here, and this formation rotates whilst keeping that form rigid. So what we essentially have is 2 sets of opposites. Compound has this kind of constellation, each point moving with the next. Shades, we have the one singular line spanning from the middle of the colour wheel, so technically the radius. At the outside of the colour wheel, we have the darkest point. Towards the inner, we have like the lightest point of that same colour. Custom allows you to put the points anywhere you so choose. So that's a brief overview of the colour harmony rules. If we find a colour scheme that we're happy with, let's create something here. If I wanted to save this colour scheme, I simply go to the right hand side. Next to Save To, we can choose My Library. Here I have Interview selected because it's one of my current projects. This is the universal storage which every Creative Cloud user has. So selecting My Library, we can name our colour scheme. I'm just going to keep it as My Colour Theme. And tags are useful for if and when you want to publish your colour schemes to Adobe Colour. The tags are used for users to find via search terms. We can publish the colour by using this switch here. I'm going to switch this off. But if we did want to publish this to colour for other people to use, we can do so. As I'll show soon, we can benefit from other users' creations too. So, clicking Save. This is now saved to My Library and the confirmation appears at bottom right. Now, if we look up top, we have a nav bar, Create, Explore, Trends and Libraries. If we first click upon Libraries, clicking My Library, you'll see My Colour Theme here has been added. You can see ones that I've added in the past also for different logo jobs that I've done. So clicking the next, which is Explore, these are the colour schemes which other users have developed. So scrolling down, you see that we have the blues, the purples, breaking into the yellows. And besides the colours, we see the actual artwork which those colours were used upon in some cases, or extracted from. We can go on to the next page. So clicking into one of these. So we could add this colour scheme to our library once again. We can download in various formats too. So if you want to contribute to the public library, you can do so, or you can just use it for your own project. So exploring trends in the nav bar also. These are the colours which are allegedly trending at the current time. So clicking upon this, for example. Of course, this is a logo design, and this particular colour scheme was used to develop the logo. Again, as always, we have the option to add to our library or download in various formats. So exploring another in trends. So this is another example pertaining to fashion. So 5 prominent colours have been picked out from a photograph, and this scheme is the result. So jumping over into Illustrator, if we open our Libraries panel by going to Window, Libraries, and selecting the library, in this case My Library, we can scroll down and we can select the colour scheme, right click and click Add Theme to Swatches, and there we get all of those colours added to the Swatches panel in their own colour group, ready for use in our illustrations. So that's the overview of Adobe Colour at color.adobe.com. If you haven't already, be sure to visit that website and tinker with the various colour harmonies, and you will discover that finding appropriate and effective colours for your projects can be achieved with just a few simple motions.